Elon Musk, Sam Altman, Larry Ellison, Jensen Huang, Dario Amodei. A handful of names you've probably heard a lot more of lately. Just some of the people at the center of the AI industry. Men whose fortunes, fame, and influence have exploded over the last few years, riding a wave of record-breaking investment pouring into this one technology. And we're talking about money on a scale that's genuinely hard to wrap your head around. Hundreds of billions of dollars a year, flowing into chips, data centers, and research. More capital chasing a single idea than almost anything in modern history. That number alone has split the room. On one side, you have people who believe we're living through the early days of the most important invention since the internet, maybe since electricity. To them, the spending isn't reckless. It's a land grab for the future, and the only real risk is moving too slowly. On the other side, a growing chorus of economists, investors, and analysts are reaching for a different word: bubble. They look at the valuations, the circular deals where the same handful of companies seem to be funding each other. Businesses worth trillions on promises that haven't fully arrived yet. And they see echoes of 1999, of railway mania, of every moment in history where the money sprinted miles ahead of the reality. Until, one day, it didn't. Here's the thing. Both of those stories can't be fully true at once. But both are being told, loudly, by serious people. And trillions of dollars are riding on which one turns out to be right. So that's what this video is really about. Not picking a side and shouting it. Just laying it out, honestly. Where we actually are right now. Past the demos, past the headlines. Where the people building this think it's going, and why, sometimes, they sound less like CEOs and more like prophets. And what could go wrong. From the grounded, boring, expensive problems to the ones that keep researchers up at night. Because whether this turns out to be the dawn of a new era or the most expensive lesson in financial history, it's already reshaping the world. And it's worth understanding properly before the story finishes writing itself. Okay, before we talk about the money, or the dreams, or the danger, let's do the one thing almost nobody does in a video like this. Let's be honest about what these things can actually do. Because the hype works in both directions. Some people will tell you AI is basically magic. Others will tell you it's a glorified autocomplete that lies to you. And the truth, the boring, useful truth, sits right in the middle. Here's what's real. Today, right now, these systems can write emails, essays, code, legal drafts at a level that was science fiction 5 years ago. They can take a messy, vague question and give you a structured answer. They can read a 100-page document in seconds and tell you what's in it. They can write software that actually runs. That's not a demo. That's happening today inside hospitals, law firms, banks, classrooms, and the software that quietly runs your life. But here's where the honesty cuts the other way. These same systems will also make things up, confidently. They'll invent a fact, a quote, a court case that never existed, and hand it to you with a perfectly straight face. They don't know things the way you do. They predict. And most of the time, that prediction is stunningly good, right up until it quietly isn't. So the real picture isn't genius or fraud. It's something stranger. It's a tool that is superhuman at some things and weirdly, unpredictably dumb at others. And we're all still figuring out which is which. And the companies racing to build it? You only really need to know a few. OpenAI, the one that kicked the whole thing off for the public. Anthropic, its main rival, founded by people who left OpenAI, partly over how fast and how safely to move. Google, the sleeping giant that basically invented the underlying technology, then watched everyone else run with it. And NVIDIA, the company that doesn't build the AI at all. It builds the chips everyone else needs to. Remember that last one. We'll come back to it, because it might be the most important company in this entire story. So that's where we stand. A technology that's genuinely, undeniably real, and genuinely, undeniably unfinished. Which raises the obvious question. If it's not finished, why is the entire world betting everything on it? Follow the money. Follow the money. And the very first thing you notice is that artificial intelligence is expensive. Almost unimaginably so. Not expensive the way a big company's annual budget is expensive. Expensive in a way the private sector has almost never attempted before. Every time you type a question and get an answer back, something enormous is happening behind it. A single reply can take a staggering amount of computing power. Training one of these systems in the first place means thousands of specialized chips running around the clock for months. And the electricity it burns through could power a small city. So where does all of that money actually go? When you strip it down, it comes back to three places: the chips, the data centers that house them, and the raw power it takes to keep the whole thing running. Start with the chips. Because here's the strange part. Almost all of them come from a single company, NVIDIA, the one we told you to remember. It doesn't build the AI itself, it sells the shovels in a gold rush. And right now, everybody is digging. Then, the data centers. They started out the size of warehouses. Now they're closer to the size of neighborhoods. Vast, windowless buildings packed wall to wall with those chips, going up faster than the power grid can keep up with them. Which brings us to the real bottleneck. It isn't the code anymore, it's electricity. These companies are now signing deals for entire power plants. Some are seriously looking at building their own nuclear reactors to run chatbots. Sit with that for a second. And here's where it gets genuinely strange. When you trace the money flowing between these companies, it doesn't move in a straight line. One company invests billions into another. That second company turns around and spends those same billions buying chips and services right back from the first. The money goes out one door and comes back in through another. Defenders call this bootstrapping, just the natural way a young industry funds itself. Skeptics call it a warning sign, because when the same dollars keep circling the same handful of companies, the whole thing can start to look a lot bigger and a lot healthier than it really is. To understand why the money keeps flowing, despite all of that, you have to understand what the people building this actually believe. Because they're not betting the future on a tool. They're betting it on a vision. And the vision isn't better software, it's a new kind of mind. They call it AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. A machine as flexible and as capable as a human being. At, well, everything. And they don't say maybe, they say a few years. This decade. They talk about curing diseases we fought for centuries. About compressing 100 years of scientific progress into 10. About reshaping what it even means to be human. And when you watch them say it, on stage, in the careful lighting, with the music swelling underneath, it stops sounding like a product launch. It starts to sound like prophecy. And to be fair to them, these are some of the smartest people in the entire field. They might be right. But it's worth remembering one thing. These are interested parties. Every grand prediction is also, quietly, a pitch. Every time someone says this changes everything, it helps justify the next $122 billion funding round. So here's the question to keep in the back of your mind. What happens to your fortune if I can get you to believe me? You have to hold both of these in your head at the same time. The vision might be real. The salesmanship definitely is. Which brings us, finally, to the question this whole thing is named after. Is this a bubble? And to answer it honestly, we have to be clear about what a bubble actually is. A bubble isn't a lie. It isn't fraud. It's what happens when the price of something races far ahead of what it can actually deliver. All of it fueled by one very powerful feeling: the fear of being left behind. And by that definition, there are real warning signs. Look at the gap. On one side, valuations in the trillions. On the other, the actual revenue these companies bring in today, a small fraction of that. Investors aren't paying for what these businesses earn. They're paying for what they might earn years from now. And we have been here before. In the 1840s, Britain went mad for railways. Fortunes poured in and then collapsed. The railways were real. The prices were not. In 1999, the exact same story played out again. The internet was the real deal. The valuations weren't. And the crash erased trillions. And the case for a bubble isn't just being made by anonymous accounts online. It's coming from serious people, major banks, respected economists, the kind of voices that don't cry wolf for fun. But here's the part almost everyone gets wrong. The skeptics being right would not mean that AI is fake. Remember the dot-com crash? It was absolutely a bubble, and the internet still went on to eat the entire world. Both of those things were true at once. And that's the idea to really sit with. It can be a bubble and a revolution at the very same time. So the real question was never simply, is it a bubble? It's this: which of these companies turn out to be the real internet, and which ones don't survive the morning after? And the honest truth is, nobody, not me, not them, knows the answer yet. Now let's flip it around completely. Let's say the optimists are right, that all of this works exactly as promised. That is not the end of the worries. In a strange way, it's only the beginning. Because forget the movies for a second. Forget the killer robots. The real problems are quieter than that. And a lot closer. Risk 1. Cost. We already talked about the staggering amounts of energy, water, and money this takes. And it's arriving at the exact moment the planet can least afford the extra strain. Whatever AI gives us, somebody, somewhere, pays the bill. Risk 2. Power. The ability to build this is concentrated in a tiny number of companies, in just a couple of countries. And whoever controls the most capable AI ends up with a new kind of leverage over everyone else. Risk 3. Jobs. And not in the cartoonish, the robots take all the work way. It's slower and messier than that. Some jobs change, some shrink, some quietly just stop being hired for. And the people in them don't get a vote on the timeline. And risk 4. The one that keeps the researchers themselves up at night. The black box. We are building systems that get more capable every single year, and that we do not fully understand. We can see what they do. We can't always explain why they do it. And we keep handing them more access and more autonomy anyway. None of this is a prediction of doom. Think of it more as a list of bills that come due, whether the technology succeeds or fails. And almost none of them are being answered as fast as the technology itself is being built. So, what do we actually do with all of this? We started with 2 stories, told about the very same set of facts. 1. The dawn of a brand new era. Or 2. The most expensive lesson in financial history. And I'm not going to pretend I know which one it'll be. Honestly, anyone who's completely certain is either trying to sell you something, or they haven't thought about it hard enough. But you don't have to pick a team. You just have to watch the right things. 1. Does the revenue ever actually catch up to those sky-high valuations? 2. Does the money keep circling the same few companies, or does it start coming from the real economy? And 3. What can these systems actually do a year from now compared to the promises being made today? The space between promise and delivery, that is the whole story. Because whatever this turns out to be, one thing is certain. It is not slowing down. It's already in your phone, in your work, in your world. Which means the worst thing you could possibly do right now is not pay attention. The story is still being written. The ending is genuinely unknown. So watch closely.